Captain Jake Morrison sat in his command chair, watching the stars move past on the main screen. The New Horizon had been traveling through space for 3 months now, looking for new planets and life forms. It was quiet work, but Jake liked it that way. His crew was small but good at their jobs. Lisa Martinez worked at the tactical station, checking the ship's weapons and shields. She was tough and smart, always ready for trouble. Danny Brooks sat at the engineering console, making sure the ship ran perfectly. He could fix anything that broke. Dr. Amy Collins studied alien languages and biology at her science station. She loved learning about new forms of life. The bridge was peaceful until the communication system started beeping. Bobby Chun, their communications officer, looked up from his station with surprise on his face. "Captain, I'm getting something strange," Bobby said. "It's not directed at us, but it's coming from far away." Jake turned his chair toward Bobby. "What kind of signal?" "It sounds like a distress call, but it's in a language I've never heard before. The computer is trying to translate it." Amy left her station and walked over to Bobby's console. She put on headphones and listened carefully. Her face became serious as she worked with the translation program. "This is incredible," Amy said. "It's definitely a distress call, but they're not asking for help. They're asking someone to remember them." Jake stood up. "Put it on speakers." The bridge filled with strange sounds that slowly became words as the computer translated them. The voice sounded sad and tired. "To anyone who might hear this message, we are the Velari of the world, Christia. We know no one will come to save us, but we want someone to know we existed. We are a peaceful people who love learning and creating beautiful things. We have never hurt anyone." The message continued. "The Krex Empire attacks our world. They do not want to kill us quickly. They want us to suffer first. They destroy our cities slowly, one by one. They want us to lose hope before we die. We are not warriors. We do not know how to fight them." Lisa looked angry. "They're being tortured before they're killed." Amy nodded. "The Krex Empire seems to use fear as a weapon. They don't just conquer worlds. They break the spirits of the people first." The alien voice continued. "We have been sending these messages for many months. No one has answered. We understand why. We are far from other worlds, and we have nothing valuable to trade. We ask only this: remember that we lived and that we chose to die as free people rather than become slaves." The message ended with coordinates and a final sentence. "We are the Velari, we existed, we mattered." The bridge was quiet for a long moment. Jake felt anger building in his chest. These people were asking for nothing except to be remembered, and they were going to die because no one cared enough to help them. "How far away are they?" Jake asked. Lisa checked her computer. "About 3 weeks at maximum speed, Captain." "What kind of weapons do we have?" Jake asked. Donnie looked worried. "Captain, we're a research ship. We have basic shields and some small weapons, but nothing like a real warship." "What do we know about this Krex Empire?" Jake asked Amy. Amy worked at her computer for several minutes. "I'm picking up other alien communications. Give me some time to translate them." While Amy worked, Jake walked around the bridge. His crew watched him, waiting for orders. He knew what Starfleet regulations said. He should report back to Earth and wait for orders. That would take months. By then, the Velari would be dead. "Captain," Amy said, "I've translated some Krex communications. They talk about breaking the will of their enemies before destroying them. They think it makes other worlds surrender without fighting." "How long have they been attacking the Velari?" Jake asked. "About 6 months. They're taking their time, destroying one city every few weeks. They want the Velari to watch their world die slowly." Lisa hit her console with her fist. "That's sick." Jake looked at his crew. These were good people. They had joined Starfleet to explore and help others, not to watch genocide happen while they followed rules. "Denny, how long would it take to get a message back to Earth and receive orders?" Jake asked. "About 4 months, Captain." "The Velari don't have 4 months," Jake said. Bobby looked up from his station. "Captain, I'm getting more Velari messages. They're still broadcasting, but the signals are getting weaker." Amy listened to the new messages. Her face became pale. They're down to their last 3 cities. The Kreks are planning to destroy another one tomorrow. Jake made his decision. He had become a Starfleet captain to protect innocent people, not to hide behind regulations while they died. Lisa, plot a course for the Christia system, maximum speed. Captain, Danny said carefully, we could be starting a war. No, Jake said firmly, we're stopping one. The Kreks started this war when they decided to torture innocent people for fun. Lisa smiled as she entered the coordinates. Course laid in, Captain. Amy, keep monitoring their communications. Learn everything you can about both species. Yes, sir. Bobby, prepare a message to send back to Earth. Tell them what we found and what we're doing. Jake sat back in his command chair and looked at the stars ahead of them. Somewhere out there, people were dying while asking for nothing more than to be remembered? Well, they would be remembered. And if Jake Morrison had anything to say about it, they would be remembered as the people who lived, not the people who died. Danny, give me everything the engines have. Aye, Captain. Setting course for Christia, maximum speed. The New Horizon changed direction, heading toward a world none of them had ever seen to help people they had never met because it was the right thing to do. Jake Morrison had made his choice. Now he would see where that choice led them all. The New Horizon had been traveling toward Christia for 1 week when Bobby Chun made a discovery that changed everything. He was listening to alien radio signals when he heard something that made him call Captain Morrison to the bridge immediately. Captain, you need to hear this, Bobby said. His face looked worried and confused at the same time. Jake hurried to the bridge with Lisa, Danny and Amy following behind him. What did you find? I've been listening to different alien communications trying to learn more about this part of space, Bobby explained, but they keep talking about us. They know we're coming. Amy sat down at her station and put on headphones. Let me listen. For several minutes, Amy worked with the translation computer. Her eyes grew wide as she understood what the aliens were saying. This is incredible, Amy said. They're calling us Deathworlders and they're terrified of us. What's a Deathworlder? Danny asked. Amy pulled up information on her screen. According to these communications, the galaxy classifies planets by how dangerous they are. Most alien species evolved on very safe worlds with gentle weather, few predators, and easy living conditions. And Earth? Jake asked. Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world. That means it's so dangerous that most aliens think it's impossible for intelligent life to survive there. Lisa laughed. They think Earth is too dangerous? Amy nodded. Listen. To this, she played a translated alien message. The voice sounded scared. The Deathworlders are coming to Christia. These are the demons from the Death Planet. They live on a world covered in poison water that falls from the sky. Their planet tries to kill them with violent storms, shaking ground, and mountains that explode with liquid fire. Danny grinned. They're talking about rain, earthquakes, and volcanoes like they're weapons. Amy continued playing messages. Their world is full of creatures that hunt and kill each other for food. The Deathworlders themselves are predators who grew strong by fighting these monsters. They can survive in places that would kill us in minutes. What else do they say about humans? Jake asked. Amy found another message. They say humans do things for fun that other species use to train soldiers. They throw themselves out of flying machines and fall toward the ground for entertainment. They climb the highest mountains on their world just to see what's at the top. They swim in the poison water of their oceans where giant monsters live. Bobby started laughing. They're talking about skydiving, mountain climbing, and swimming. There's, more, Amy said. They say humans can run for hours without stopping, lift weights that would crush smaller species, and they actually enjoy fighting each other in organized combat. Lisa looked amazed. They're scared of marathons, weightlifting, and boxing? It gets better, Amy continued. They think human music is designed to prepare warriors for battle. They're particularly terrified of something they call the screaming battle songs of the Deathworld warriors. What are they talking about? Jake asked. Amy smiled. Heavy metal music. The crew started laughing, but Jake held up his hand for quiet. This is actually very important information. If they're already afraid of us, we can use that. Amy found more alien communications. Captain, listen to this Krex military message. The translated voice sounded worried. General Lekmore, we have confirmed that a Deathworlder vessel is approaching. Christia, intelligence reports suggest these creatures are incredibly dangerous. They survived evolution on a planet that actively tries to kill everything on it. Another Krex voice answered. How many ships? Only one, General, but our scholars warn that Deathworlder technology might be far beyond our understanding. Their ship could be more powerful than our entire fleet. One ship cannot defeat our armada. Sir, with respect, these are creatures that evolved by conquering their own world. Every day of their lives is a battle just to survive. They might see our entire fleet as a minor challenge. Jake looked at his crew. They think our research ship is a super weapon. Danny checked their actual weapons. Captain, we have two small energy cannons and basic shields. Any one of their warships could destroy us easily. But they don't know that, Lisa said with a smile. Amy was still listening to alien communications. There's more, Captain. Other species are talking about legendary human abilities. They say humans can stay awake and alert for days when necessary. They heal from injuries that would kill other species. They can survive in environments without food or water for much longer than anyone else. They also say, Amy continued, that humans become more dangerous when they're protecting others. Something about pack bonding, where humans will die fighting to save creatures they barely know. Bobby found a new signal. Captain, I'm picking up communications from neutral species near Christia. They're evacuating the area because they don't want to be anywhere near a fight between humans and the Krex Empire. Jake realized what was happening. They think we're coming to destroy the Krex, not just help the Velari. Should we tell them the truth? Danny asked. Jake thought for a moment. No, let them think what they want to think. Fear can be a weapon too. Amy discovered something else. Captain, I'm reading Krex communications about human technology. They think our engines are impossibly powerful because we're traveling faster than they thought possible. Danny looked confused. But we're just using standard human engines. That's the point, Jake said. What's normal for us is impossible for them. Danny, can you make our engines look even more powerful than they are? I can modify our energy signature to make it look like we're putting out twice as much power, Danny said. It won't actually make us faster, but their sensors will think we're incredibly advanced. Do it, Jake ordered. Lisa was studying tactical information. Captain, if they're this scared of one human ship, what happens when they actually have to fight us? Let's hope we don't have to find out, Jake said. But if we do, we'll use every advantage we have. Amy looked up from her station. Captain, there's something else. The galaxy doesn't just fear humans. They respect us too. They think we're the most dangerous species in known space, but they also believe we only fight when we have to. What do you mean? They've never heard of humans starting wars or conquering other species for no reason. They think we're dangerous. But honorable, Jake nodded. Good, that's exactly the reputation we want. As the New Horizon continued toward Christia, Jake realized they weren't just going to help the Velari. They were about to become humanity's first representatives to galactic civilization. How they handled this situation would determine what the entire galaxy thought about the human race. 2 more weeks to Christia, Lisa reported. Keep monitoring all communications, Jake ordered. I want to know everything about the Krex Empire and how they fight. Captain, Amy said, what if we can't actually beat them? Jake looked at his crew with determination. Then we'll make sure they remember why you don't mess with Deathworlders. The New Horizon dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Christia system. On the main screen, Jake Morrison and his crew could see the beautiful blue and green planet that was home to the Velari. They could also see the dark shapes of Krex warships surrounding it like hungry wolves. How many ships? Jake asked. Lisa checked her sensors. 57 Krex vessels, Captain. Their smallest ship is 3 times bigger than us. Amy was listening to Krex communications. They know we're here. They're calling us the Deathworld demon ship. Put me on all frequencies, Jake ordered Bobby. You're on, Captain. Jake stood up and spoke in a calm, clear voice. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the human vessel New Horizon. You have attacked innocent people who cannot defend themselves. You have 5 minutes to stop all attacks on the Volari and leave this system. The response came quickly. A deep, angry voice filled the bridge. Human creature, I am General Thekmore of the Krex Empire. You are one small ship against my mighty fleet. Leave now or be destroyed, Jake smiled. General, you have 4 minutes. And 30 seconds. Amy quickly analyzed the Krex response. Captain, I can hear fear in his voice. He's trying to sound brave, but he's scared. Good, Jake said. Let's give him something to really be scared about. Danny, are the engine modifications ready? Yes, Captain. Our energy signature will look like we have 10 times more power than we actually do. Lisa, I want you to fly this ship like you're completely crazy. Make it look like we don't care if we die. Understood, Captain. Amy had been studying everything. They learned about alien psychology during their trip. Captain, most alien species fight very carefully. They follow rules and try not to take risks. They've never seen anything like human military tactics. What do you mean? Humans are the only species that charges directly at superior forces. Every other species retreats when they're outnumbered. They can't understand why we would attack when we should run away. Jake nodded. Then let's show them what humans do when innocent people are in danger. Bobby, start broadcasting human music on all frequencies. What kind of music, Captain? War songs, battle hymns. The loudest, most aggressive music we have. Soon the space around Christia filled with the sound of human heavy metal and military march. The Krex had never heard anything like it. To them, it sounded like the war cries of demons. Amy was monitoring Krex communications. Captain, they're panicking. They think the music is some kind of psychological weapon designed to drive enemies insane. Let them think that, Jake said. Lisa, take us toward their biggest ship, full speed. Captain, that's suicide, Danny said. No, it's human. Jake replied. The New Horizon shot forward like a bullet, heading straight for the Krex command ship. The alien vessel was massive, covered in weapons and armor. It looked like a flying fortress. Lisa piloted their ship in ways that should have been impossible. She spun them through asteroid fields, dove under enemy fire, and pulled maneuvers that subjected the crew to crushing forces. Any normal species would have been killed by the acceleration, but humans had evolved on a world that was constantly trying to kill them. The Krex ships are trying to follow us, Lisa reported. But they can't handle these maneuvers. 2 of them just crashed into asteroids. Amy was listening to enemy communications. Their pilots are screaming that we're insane. They say no intelligent species would fly like this. How are our shields? Jake asked. Still holding, Danny reported. The Krex weapons are powerful, but they can't hit us when we're moving like this. Jake opened communications again. General Thekmore, you have 30 seconds to withdraw. After that, you'll learn why humans conquered the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. You're bluffing, human. You're just one ship. Amy, send the general some information about Earth. Jake ordered. Amy transmitted files about Earth's history, but she chose carefully. She sent videos of human soldiers charging through machine gun fire, athletes performing impossible feats of strength and endurance, and rescue workers running into burning buildings to save strangers. She also sent recordings of Earth's most dangerous animals. Lions hunting in packs, sharks attacking their prey, and poisonous snakes striking with lightning speed. But she labeled them as Earth's gentler creatures and examples of Earth's peaceful wildlife. The effect on the Krex was immediate. General Thekmore's voice came back, but now it shook with fear. These creatures hunt predators for sport. They live with monsters that could destroy our finest warriors. Your time is up, General, Jake said calmly. Lisa aimed their ship directly at the Krex command vessel. Captain, we're going to ram them. But at the last second, she spun the ship around the massive warship, firing their small weapons at specific points Amy had identified as weak spots. The Krex ship's shields flickered and failed. Impossible, General Leckmore screamed. Our shields are the strongest in the galaxy? Not strong enough, Jake replied. Amy had figured out something important about Krek's psychology. Captain, they can't understand how we knew where to shoot. Their shields failed because we hit the exact points where they were weakest. To them, it looks like we have impossible knowledge of their technology. 3 more Krek ships moved to attack the New Horizon. Lisa flew their small vessel between the enemy warships, using their own size against them. When the Krek ships fired, they hit each other instead of the human ship. They're shooting their own ships, Bobby reported with amazement. Human tactics, Jake explained. Use the enemy's strength against them. Amy was monitoring all frequencies now. Captain, the other Krek ships are afraid to fire. They don't want to hit their own vessels, but we're moving too fast for them to get a clear shot. General Leckmore was becoming desperate. All ships, focus fire on the human vessel. Destroy it now. But his own captains were hesitating. They had been trained to fight enemies who followed the same rules they did. The humans fought like nothing they had ever seen before. Jake opened communications one more time. General, your ships are confused and afraid. Your weapons are hitting your own forces. Your shields can't protect you from tactics you don't understand. This is what happens when you attack innocent people while humans are watching. What do you want? The general asked. Leave Christia. Never come back. Tell your empire that this world is under human protection. And if we refuse, Jake's voice became cold and hard, then you'll discover why evolution spent millions of years teaching humans how to kill things that are bigger and stronger than we are. Amy was amazed by what she was seeing in the Krek's communications. Captain, half their fleet is asking for permission to retreat. They're more afraid of us than they are of their own general. General Leckmore realized he was losing control of his forces. The mighty Krek's empire, which had conquered dozens of worlds, was being terrorized by one small human ship and 4 humans who refused to act like any rational species should. This isn't over, human, the general transmitted. Yes, it is, Jake replied. You just don't know it yet. While the New Horizon continued to confuse and frighten the Krek's fleet, Amy Collins worked to establish communication with the Volari on the planet below. She had been trying to reach them for hours when finally a gentle voice answered her call. Unknown. Vessel, this is Prime Scholar Kethvari of the Volari people. Are you truly here to help us? Amy looked at Captain Morrison, who nodded for her to respond. Prime Scholar, we are humans from Earth. We heard your distress calls and came to help. There was a long pause. Humans? We have never heard of your species. How did you find us? We were exploring space when we heard your messages asking someone to remember you. We couldn't let that happen, another voice joined the conversation. I am Zeph Luna, military coordinator of Christia. Forgive me, but we must ask, are you truly fighting the entire Krek's fleet with just one ship? Jake took over the communication. This is Captain Jake Morrison. Yes, we're just one ship. But we're human, and humans don't abandon people who need help. Kethvari sounded amazed. Captain Morrison, our sensors show you are greatly outnumbered. Why would you risk your lives for people you have never met? Because it's the right thing to do, Jake answered simply. Amy began learning about Volari culture during their conversations. The Volari were unlike any species she had studied. They were beings made of living crystal who could share thoughts and emotions with each other. Their entire civilization was built on peace, learning, and creating beautiful art. We have never known war, Kethvari explained. For thousands of years, our people have spent their time thinking, creating, and learning about the universe. We have no weapons, no soldiers, no knowledge of fighting. Zeph Luna added, I am called military coordinator, but that only means I organize our people during emergencies like storms or earthquakes. I know nothing about combat. Amy was fascinated. How do you resolve conflicts between your people? We share our thoughts and feelings directly through our crystal bodies, Kethvari said. When you can feel exactly what another person feels, it becomes impossible to want to hurt them. Jake found this both wonderful and sad. That's a beautiful way to live. But it leaves you defenseless against people like the Kreks. Yes, Zephluna said sadly. When they first arrived, we tried to share our thoughts with them, to show them we meant no harm. But their minds are closed to such contact. They see our peaceful nature as weakness. Meanwhile, Bobby Chun was monitoring communications from across the galaxy. News of the human intervention at Christia was spreading fast through alien communication networks. Captain, Bobby reported, we're getting attention from species all over this part of space. Some are asking if humans will help them too. Amy, listen to some of these messages. There's a species called the Mendi asking if we can protect them from the Vorthan Empire. Another group called the Quilex wants to know if humans will stop the hegemony from taking their children as slaves. Jake felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. We came here to help the Velari, but it sounds like half. The galaxy has the same problem. Dr. Collins was studying the cultural information she was gathering. Captain, I think I understand what's happening. Most alien species are either peaceful like the Velari or aggressive like the Kreks. There's nothing in between. What do you mean? Humans are unique. We're capable of great violence, but we usually choose peace. We can be terrifying warriors, but we prefer to be protectors. Most species are either helpless victims or ruthless predators. Zephluna had been listening to their conversation. Dr. Collins, may I ask about human history? How did your people learn to fight? Amy thought carefully about how to answer. Our planet is very dangerous. We had to learn to fight just to survive. But we also learned to work together to protect each other. Could you share some of your history with us? Kethvari asked. We would like to understand. Amy decided to tell them about World War II, but she focused on the parts about people fighting to protect innocent victims from those who wanted to hurt them. She told them about soldiers who died saving strangers, about ordinary people who hid families from persecutors, about nations that joined together to stop evil. The Velari were silent for a long time after she finished. Finally, Kethvari spoke. Your people have suffered greatly, but you use that suffering to help others. This is wisdom we do not possess. You don't need that kind of wisdom, Jake said. You've built something beautiful here. We'll make sure. You get to keep it. Suddenly, Lisa's voice cut through their conversation. Captain, we have a problem. Long-range sensors are picking up more ships coming toward Christia. Kreks reinforcements? Jake asked. No, sir. These are different designs. I'm reading at least 20 different ship types. Amy quickly worked to identify the new arrivals. Captain, they're from all over the galaxy. Some are peaceful species asking for protection. Others look like they might be more aggressive. Bobby was receiving dozens of new communications. Captain, everyone wants to see what humans are really capable of. Some sound friendly, but others are making threats. General Vekmore's voice suddenly filled the bridge. Human Captain, you have made a grave mistake. News of your interference has reached the Kreks High Command. My Emperor is sending the Grand Fleet to destroy you and everyone who supports you. Jake opened communications to respond, but Zepluna's voice came through first. General Vekmore, we Velari choose to stand with the humans. If you attack them, you attack us. You have no weapons, crystal creatures? No, Kethvari said, but we have something else. Attention all vessels in the Christia system. The Velari. People officially request that this world be placed under human protection. We offer our knowledge and friendship to humanity in exchange for their guardianship. Amy gasped. Captain, they're asking us to be their protectors. If we accept, we're committing Earth to defend them. Jake looked at his crew. They had come here to save one species, but now they were being asked to take responsibility for their safety forever. It was a decision that could change the relationship between humanity and the entire galaxy. Prime Scholar Kethvari, Jake said formally, on behalf of humanity, we accept your request. Christia is now under Earth's protection. The bridge erupted, with new communications from dozens of alien species. Some were offering support, others were making demands, and a few sounded like threats. Captain, Lisa said grimly, sensors are showing massive energy signatures approaching from deep space. The Krex Grand Fleet is coming, and they're bringing everything they have? Amy looked at the tactical display showing hundreds of red dots converging on their position. Captain, how are we going to fight an entire empire with one ship? Jake Morrison looked at the growing fleet of alien vessels surrounding Christia and realized that humanity's first contact with galactic civilization was about to become the largest space battle in recorded history. We'll figure something out, he said. We always do. The Krex Grand Fleet arrived like a storm of metal and fire. 200 massive warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Christia system. Each ship was larger than anything the galaxy had ever seen, bristling with weapons designed to destroy entire planets. Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the New Horizon, watching the enemy fleet form into attack positions. His small research vessel looked like a tiny insect next to the Krex Armada, but he felt no fear behind him. His crew worked with calm determination. Captain, Lisa reported, the Krex fleet is 10 times larger than anything in our databases. Their flagship alone has more firepower than most planetary defense systems. Amy was monitoring communications from the dozens of alien observer ships that had gathered to watch the battle. Captain, species from across the galaxy are here. They want to see if humans are really as dangerous as the legends say. General Vecmore's voice boomed across all frequencies. Attention all vessels. I am General Vecmore of the Krex Grand Fleet. The human ship will be destroyed, and any who support them will share their fate. This is the price of defying the Krex Empire. Jake opened communications to address not just the Krex fleet but every alien ship in the system. This is Captain Jake Morrison of Earth. We didn't come here to prove we're strong. We came because we heard people crying for help, and humans don't ignore that sound. One ship cannot defeat our armada, General Vecmore declared. You're right, Jake admitted. One ship can't defeat your fleet, but one ship can teach you something important about humanity. Amy had been working with the Velari to prepare a surprise. Captain, the Velari cities are ready. Their crystal structures can amplify our communications and create interference with Krex sensors. Do it, Jake ordered, across the planet Christia. The beautiful crystal cities began to glow with soft light. The Velari had turned their entire civilization into a massive communication array, giving the New Horizon abilities far beyond what any single ship should possess. Danny had been pushing their engines beyond all safety limits. Captain, I'm routing power from life support to weapons and shields. We'll have about 10 minutes of combat capability before our systems overload. 10 minutes, Jake repeated. That should be enough. Lisa prepared for the most important battle of her career. Captain, how do we fight 200 ships? We don't fight them, Jake said. We teach them. The Krex fleet began its attack with overwhelming force. Hundreds of energy beams and missiles streaked toward the New Horizon, enough firepower to destroy a small moon. But Lisa had learned something during their previous encounters with the Krex. She piloted their ship not away from the attack, but directly into it, weaving between energy beams with impossible precision. To the watching aliens, it looked like the humans were dancing through certain death. Impossible, General Vecmore screamed. No ship can survive that barrage. Human ship can, Jake replied calmly. Amy was broadcasting on all frequencies, speaking to every alien species watching the battle. People of the galaxy, you see before you the difference between conquest and protection. The Krex came to Christia to destroy and enslave. We came to help and defend. The New Horizon spun through the Krex formation, its small weapons striking with surgical precision. Every shot disabled rather than destroyed, targeting weapon systems and engines instead of crew areas. It was a display of skill that left the watching aliens speechless. Bobby was coordinating with the Velari to jam Krex communications while amplifying human transmissions. Captain, the entire galaxy is listening to us right now. Jake knew this was humanity's chance to define their role in galactic civilization. General Vecmore, I'm going to teach you something about humans. We don't fight because we enjoy it. We fight because someone has to protect the innocent. 3 Krex ships moved to surround the New Horizon, but Lisa used their own tactic against them. She positioned their ship so that when the Krex vessels fired, they hit each other instead of the human ship. General Lekmore was becoming desperate. "Human, you cannot defeat us all." "I don't need to defeat you," Jake said. "I just need to show the galaxy who you really are." Amy was broadcasting video of the battle to every observer ship. "Look carefully, people of the galaxy. The Krex fleet carries enough weapons to destroy this entire solar system, but they can't hit one small ship because humans learned to survive on a world that tried to kill us every day." The battle reached its climax when General Lekmore ordered his flagship to ram the New Horizon. The massive Krex vessel, 10 times larger than the human ship, charged forward at full speed. Lisa waited until the last possible second, then spun their ship around the Krex flagship's hull. As they passed over the enemy ship, Danny activated a boarding pod. "Captain," Lisa said with a smile, "you're not seriously going aboard their ship?" "Someone has to end this properly," Jake replied. Jake Morrison, along with a small team, boarded the Krex flagship through an airlock. The Krex crew, evolved on a world with gentle gravity and clean air, found themselves facing humans who moved and fought in conditions that would kill most aliens within minutes. Jake stood on the bridge of the Krex flagship facing General Lekmore himself. The Krex general was massive, covered in natural armor, but he stepped backward when he saw the human captain. "You came here to terrorize innocent people," Jake said quietly. "That stops now. You cannot defeat the entire Krex empire," General Lekmore said, but his voice shook with fear. "I don't need to," Jake replied. "I just need to give them a choice." Jake opened communications to the entire Krex fleet. "Krex warriors, I am Captain Jake Morrison. Your general lies defeated, but you are not my enemies. You are soldiers following orders. I offer you a choice: withdraw from Villari space and return home, or learn why humans became the dominant species on the most dangerous planet in the galaxy." Amy's voice came through the communication system, speaking to all the alien observers. "This is Dr. Amy Collins of Earth. Today you have seen what humans do when innocent people are threatened. We don't seek to conquer or rule. We seek to protect those who cannot protect themselves." One by one, the Krex ships began to withdraw. Without their general's fanatical leadership, the Krex captains chose survival over meaningless destruction. The battle was over, but its impact was just beginning. Bobby was receiving communications from dozens of species asking if humans would provide protection for their worlds too. "Captain," Amy said, "we've just changed the balance of power in the galaxy." Jake looked at the retreating Krex fleet and the dozens of alien ships that had witnessed the battle. "Amy, send a message to Earth. Tell them to prepare a diplomatic mission. I think we're about to become very popular." Prime Scholar Kethvari's voice came through the communication system. "Captain Morrison, on behalf of the Villari people, we thank you for showing us that there are still species in the galaxy who will fight for what is right." "We didn't fight for what is right," Jake corrected gently. "We fought for you because you needed help, and that's what humans do." As the New Horizon took orbit around Christia, Jake received a priority message from Earth, Starfleet. Command had approved his actions and was sending a full diplomatic fleet to establish formal relations with galactic civilization. Amy was already working on new translation protocols for the dozens of species that wanted to talk to humans. "Captain, Earth's status in the galactic community just changed from unknown Deathworld to protector species. How do you think humanity will handle that responsibility?" Jake Morrison looked out at the stars, knowing that humanity had just taken its first step into a larger universe where they would be known not as conquerors, but as the species that answered when others called for help. "We'll figure it out," he said. "We always do." The age of human protection had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.